When I opened my eyes, a man in a white coat was cutting the leather band off my wrist. My watch. The watch my daughter gave me. "Stop," I tried to say, but my voice came out like sandpaper. "What are you doing?" The man looked at me with eyes that held something I couldn't name. Pity? Fear? He leaned close and whispered 4 words that would change everything. "This watch is killing you. My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 67 years old. I taught American history at the University of Wisconsin-Madison for 34 years before I retired. I thought I knew how stories worked. The heroes, the villains, the betrayals. I taught my students about Benedict Arnold, about the Rosenbergs, about all the ways trust can be broken in this country. But I never thought I'd be living my own betrayal story. And I never, not once, imagined that the person holding the knife would be my own flesh and blood. Let me take you back to where this all started. 347 days ago, Christmas morning in Madison, Wisconsin. The snow was falling soft and quiet outside my window. Margaret, my wife of 41 years, had been gone for 3 years by then. Cancer, the kind that doesn't negotiate. After she passed, I learned something about grief that nobody tells you. It doesn't get smaller. You just get bigger around it. My daughter Patricia and her husband Kevin drove up from Chicago with the kids. Patricia is 42 now, though in my mind she's still that little girl who used to sit on my lap while I graded papers. She married Kevin 15 years ago. He works in finance, something with investments. I never really understood what he did, and honestly, I never really liked him. But Patricia loved him, and that was enough for me. That Christmas morning, after the grandkids tore through their presents and ran off to play with their new toys, Patricia handed me a small box wrapped in silver paper. "Dad," she said, "Kevin and I wanted to get you something special this year. You've been alone too long. We worry about you." I unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a watch. Beautiful thing. Dark leather band, silver face, elegant design, nothing flashy. It looked expensive. "It's a smartwatch," Kevin explained, that smile of his stretching across his face. "Top of the line. It monitors your heart rate, your sleep, your stress levels. Everything gets sent to an app on Patricia's phone. That way, if anything happens to you, we'll know right away." I looked at my daughter. Her eyes were wet. "Please wear it, Dad," she said. "For me. I can't lose you too." What could I say? I put it on right there. The leather was soft against my skin. It fit perfectly. "Thank you," I said. "Both of you." If I had known what that watch really was, I would have thrown it in the fireplace right then and there. I would have watched the leather curl and burn. I would have asked questions that needed asking, but I didn't know. How could I? The first month, nothing seemed wrong. January in Madison is brutal. 20 below some nights. I stayed inside mostly, reading, watching documentaries, calling old colleagues. The watch sat on my wrist, quiet and innocent. Then February came. It started small. Headaches. I'd never been a headache person. Margaret used to joke that my skull was too thick for pain to penetrate, but suddenly I was getting them almost every day. Dull, throbbing pressure behind my eyes. I called Patricia about it. She sounded concerned. "Dad, I can see on the app that your stress levels have been elevated. Are you sleeping okay?" I wasn't, actually. I'd been waking up at 3 a.m. almost every night, heart pounding, sheets soaked with sweat. Bad dreams I couldn't remember. "Maybe you should see a doctor," she suggested. So I did. My physician, Dr. Abrams, ran some tests. Blood work, EKG, the usual. Everything came back normal. "You're 67, Harold," he said. "Some aches and pains are normal. Try to get more exercise. Maybe cut back on the coffee." I followed his advice. I started walking every morning, even in the cold. I switched to decaf. The headaches didn't stop. By March, new symptoms appeared. My hands started trembling. Not all the time, just occasionally. A fork would shake on its way to my mouth. A pen would wobble when I tried to write. I'd been signing my name the same way for 60 years, and suddenly my signature looked like a stranger's. Patricia called more often now. 3 times a day sometimes. Dad, the app shows your heart rate spiked to 120 last night. What were you doing? Sleeping, I said. Or trying to. Maybe you should come stay with us in Chicago for a while. Kevin and I have plenty of room. I refused. I'm a stubborn man. I've lived in Madison since 1987. My whole life is here. My books, my memories, my garden where Margaret's roses still bloom every spring. I wasn't about to leave because of some headaches. That was my first mistake. April brought the fog. Not outside. Inside my head. I'd be reading a book and realize I'd read the same paragraph 5 times. I'd walk into a room and forget why I came. I'd pick up the phone to call someone and have no idea who I meant to dial. One afternoon, I drove to the grocery store, a trip I'd made 1,000 times. But when I came outside with my bags, I couldn't find my car. I walked up and down the parking lot for 20 minutes, heart racing, hands shaking, until I finally spotted it. I'd parked in a completely different section than I remembered. I sat in the driver's seat and cried. First time since Margaret's funeral. The memory lapses scared me more than anything else. My father had Alzheimer's. I watched him disappear piece by piece over 8 years. The thought of going through that myself, of losing who I am, of forgetting Margaret's face. I called Patricia that night. Dad, I really think you should see a neurologist. I can make an appointment for you at Northwestern. Kevin knows someone. Kevin knows someone. Kevin always knows someone. Okay, I said. I was too tired to argue. 2 weeks later, I took the train to Chicago. Kevin picked me up at Union Station. He was all smiles and handshakes, asking about my trip, commenting on the weather, but something in his eyes made me uneasy. Something I couldn't quite place. The neurologist was a young woman named Dr. Chen. Efficient, professional, thorough. She ran me through a battery of tests. Memory exercises, physical coordination, brain scans. When she called me back for the results, her face was carefully neutral. Mr. Bennett, I have to be honest with you. Your scans show some concerning patterns. There's evidence of early cognitive decline. My heart dropped into my stomach. You mean Alzheimer's? It's too early to say definitively, but I'd recommend starting you on medication now. It can slow the progression. She wrote me a prescription. I filled it at the pharmacy downstairs. Little blue pills. Take one twice a day with food. I stayed with Patricia and Kevin for a week. They were attentive. Almost too attentive. Kevin kept refilling my water glass. Patricia kept asking if I was comfortable, if I needed anything, if the medication was helping. On my 4th night there, I woke up at 2 a.m. with the worst headache of my life. Like someone had driven an ice pick through my temple. I stumbled to the bathroom, hands shaking so badly I could barely turn on the faucet. I looked at myself in the mirror. The face staring back was gray, hollow, old. When did I become this person? Then I noticed something strange. The watch on my wrist was warm, not body temperature warm, hot, almost burning. I touched the face of it. Definitely warmer than it should be. Probably just a battery malfunction, I thought. I'd have Kevin look at it in the morning. But as I stood there in that bathroom, 2 a.m. in my daughter's house, something whispered in the back of my mind. Something I pushed away because it was too terrible to consider. I went back to Madison the next day. The medication didn't seem to help. If anything, things got worse. May brought dizzy spells. I'd be standing at the kitchen sink and suddenly the room would tilt sideways. I fell twice. Once I cut my head on the counter. 8 stitches at the emergency room. Patricia was frantic when she found out. Dad, this is ridiculous. You can't live alone anymore. You need to come to Chicago. We'll convert the guest room. You'll be safe here. I'm fine, I insisted. But we both knew I wasn't. By June, I'd lost 15 pounds. Food tasted like cardboard. I had no appetite. My clothes hung off me like I was a scarecrow. Old friends stopped calling because I kept forgetting to call them back. My world got smaller and smaller until it was just me and the 4 walls and the watch that never left my wrist. Where are you watching from right now? I wonder sometimes about the people who hear these stories. Are you in a warm house somewhere? Safe with your family? Are you alone like I was? Do you know what it feels like to watch yourself disappear? July 4th, Independence Day. The irony isn't lost on me. I was sitting in Pioneer Park, watching families set up their blankets for the fireworks show. I'd walked there from my house, about half a mile. It was a warm evening, humid, the kind where the air feels thick enough to drink. I was tired, so tired. I'd barely slept the night before. My head was pounding. The world seemed to shimmer at the edges, like a mirage. A young mother walked by with 2 kids, carrying a cooler and a bag of sparklers. She smiled at me. I tried to smile back. Then the ground rushed up to meet me. I didn't feel myself fall. One moment I was sitting on the bench, the next I was lying on the grass, staring up at the darkening sky. Voices swirling around me like water. Someone call 911. Is he breathing? Give him space. Then I was gone. When I opened my eyes, I was in an ambulance. Fluorescent lights. The smell of antiseptic. A paramedic was cutting the band of my watch with medical scissors. Stop, I croaked. What are you doing? He looked at me. Young guy, maybe 30. Dark eyes that had seen too much. Sir, I need you to stay calm. Can you tell me your name? Harold Bennett. That watch. My daughter gave me that watch. His hands paused. Just for a moment. Then he leaned close. This watch is killing you. What? The radiation levels coming off this thing are off the charts. I've seen this before. Once. A case in Milwaukee. Someone put a modified emitter in a fitness tracker. By the time they figured it out, he didn't finish the sentence. I don't understand, I said. My daughter gave me this watch. For Christmas. Sir. His voice was gentle now. Sad. Who would benefit if something happened to you? The question hung in the air like smoke. I thought about my house. 3 bedrooms. 2 bathrooms. Nice yard. Worth maybe $400,000 in today's market. I thought about my retirement accounts. 34 years of careful saving. $500,000, give or take. I thought about Kevin's smile at Christmas. The way Patricia called 3 times a day. The medication that didn't help. The invitation to move to Chicago. No. It couldn't be. Not Patricia. Not my own daughter. But even as I denied it, something inside me knew. Something had known for months. I just hadn't wanted to see it. The paramedic's name was Marcus Williams. He saved my life that night in more ways than one. After they got me stable at the hospital, after the doctors ran their tests and found nothing wrong that couldn't be explained by months of radiation exposure, Marcus came to visit me. He brought a folder. I shouldn't be doing this, he said. But I've been looking into these cases on my own time. There's a company in China that sells these modified devices. Smart watches, fitness trackers, even earbuds. They look normal, but they've got tiny emitters inside. Low-level radiation. Not enough to kill you quickly, but over time. He spread photographs across my hospital bed. Medical reports. Autopsy results. 8 deaths in the last 3 years that I know of. Probably more that got classified as natural causes. The victims were all elderly. All had family members who stood to inherit. My hands were shaking as I looked through the papers. But not from tremors this time. From rage. How do I prove it? Marcus pulled out a small device. Silver. About the size of a deck of cards. Radiation detector. $40 online. If you can get access to that watch, or anything else they might have given you. I thought about the medication. The little blue pills that Dr. Chen prescribed. The pills I'd been taking twice a day for 3 months. Can you test something else for me? The pills weren't medication. They were some kind of sedative, mixed with a neurotoxin. Low doses, accumulating over time. Between the radiation from the watch and the poison from the pills, I should have been dead by autumn. I called Patricia that night. Kept my voice weak, confused. Sweetheart, I had another episode. They're keeping me in the hospital for observation. Oh, Dad. Her voice was honey and concern. Kevin and I will drive up first thing tomorrow. That would be nice. I think maybe you're right. Maybe I should come live with you. I can't do this alone anymore. I heard her sharp intake of breath. Surprise? Relief? Anticipation? We'll make all the arrangements. Don't worry about anything. I love you, Patricia. A pause. Just a fraction of a second too long. I love you too, Dad. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I made calls. To a lawyer. To the police. To an old student of mine, who now worked for the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. When Patricia and Kevin arrived the next morning, they weren't alone. Two plainclothes detectives were waiting in the hospital parking lot. A forensic team was already on its way to their house in Chicago. I watched through the window as they got out of their car. Patricia was carrying flowers. Kevin was carrying a folder. Probably paperwork for power of attorney, I realized. The final step. The detectives approached them. I saw Kevin's face change. That confident smile melting into something desperate, ugly. Patricia just stood there. Frozen. The flowers slipped from her hands and scattered across the pavement. Our eyes met through the glass. For a moment, I saw my little girl again. The one who used to sit on my lap while I graded papers. The one who cried when her goldfish died. The one I walked down the aisle on her wedding day. Then I saw the woman she'd become. The stranger who had tried to kill me for money. How does a father reconcile those two people? I still don't know. The investigation took 5 months. The evidence was overwhelming. The watch, the pills, bank records showing Kevin had taken out a life insurance policy on me without my knowledge. Emails between Kevin and a supplier in Shanghai. Texts between Patricia and her husband, planning my natural decline. The trial was harder than I expected. Sitting in that courtroom, listening to prosecutors describe how my own daughter had plotted my murder, watching her cry on the witness stand while her lawyer argued that Kevin had manipulated her, coerced her, controlled her. Maybe that was true. Maybe Kevin was the mastermind and Patricia was just weak. But weakness doesn't excuse betrayal. Doesn't excuse watching your father waste away and pretending to care. Doesn't excuse those phone calls, 3 times a day, monitoring the progress of my death. Kevin got 25 years. First-degree attempted murder, insurance fraud, conspiracy. Patricia got 12. Her lawyer got the charge reduced based on her diminished culpability. She'll be out in 8 with good behavior. I haven't visited her. I don't know if I ever will. After the trial, I sold the house in Madison. Too many memories now. Too many ghosts. I moved to a small apartment in Milwaukee, near Marcus and his family. He checks on me sometimes, brings his kids over for Sunday dinner. They call me Grandpa Harold, though we're not related by blood. Maybe that's what I learned from all this. Family isn't just about blood. It's about who shows up. It's about who sees you, really sees you, and chooses to care anyway. I'm 68 now. The doctors say the radiation damage was significant, but not permanent. My memory is mostly back. The tremors have stopped. I take walks every morning along the lakefront, and I think about Margaret, and I think about the daughter I lost. Not lost to death, lost to something worse. Sometimes I wonder where I went wrong as a father. Was I too strict, too lenient? Did I not love her enough, or did I love her too much? Did I miss signs that should have been obvious? Did I create the monster that tried to kill me? I don't have answers. Maybe there aren't any. What I know is this. I'm alive. I'm here. I wake up every morning and I watch the sunrise over Lake Michigan. And I remember that I almost didn't get to see another sunrise, another season, another year. There's a woman I've been talking to. Her name is Dorothy. We met at a grief support group. She lost her husband to cancer, same as I lost Margaret. We go to dinner sometimes, movies, long walks where we don't say much because we don't need to. I'm not looking for a replacement for what I had. I'm not sure my heart has room for that kind of love again. But companionship, kindness, someone who sees me and doesn't want anything except my company, that feels like enough. My grandchildren send letters sometimes. Sarah is 12 now. Tommy is 9. Their mother is in prison because of me. They don't understand everything that happened, but they know something broke that can't be fixed. I write back. I tell them about my walks, about Dorothy, about the books I'm reading. I never mention Patricia. I never mention what she did. That's not my story to tell them. Maybe when they're older, they'll ask questions. Maybe they'll want to understand, and I'll tell them the truth. as gently as I can. Their mother made a terrible choice, and choices have consequences. But I'll also tell them this. I don't hate her. I can't. She was my daughter before she was my enemy. She was the baby I held in the hospital 62 years ago, the girl who laughed at my bad jokes, the woman who stood beside her mother's grave and held my hand while we both said goodbye. That person is still in there somewhere. Maybe prison will help her find it again. Maybe it won't. That's not up to me. What's up to me is how I spend whatever time I have left. And I choose to spend it living, really living. Not as a victim, not as a cautionary tale, but as a man who got a second chance and decided not to waste it. The watch is gone, sitting in an evidence locker somewhere, probably. Or maybe they destroyed it. I don't know, and I don't care. I bought a new watch. Nothing smart about it. Just a simple analog face, leather band, ticking away the seconds. I look at it sometimes and think about time, how precious it is, how easily it can be stolen, and how good it feels to have it back. If you're watching this, I want you to know something. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to the people around you. Ask questions, even when the questions are uncomfortable, especially when they're uncomfortable. And if something feels wrong, trust that feeling. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't let anyone else talk you out of it either. That whisper in the back of your mind, the one that says something isn't right, listen to it. It might just save your life. My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 68 years old. I'm a retired history professor, a widower, a grandfather, and the survivor of my own daughter's betrayal. But I'm still here, and that's the only ending that matters.